everybody's entitled to a Christian burial, of of what you judge for this and that. And I mean, he came out and supported me and my family, and we're very grateful for Paliki. And he, stood up to the pressure and didn't allow, faceless politicians interfering in family matters, where that's disgraceful. You don't see politicians interfering in other people's. That's personal. You're trying to bury your family member, and you got outside interference. And we found that very, very, very disgraceful act.
But should we draw?
The thing is, we're going to have to leave at 8. You said you've got to leave at 8. So I'm just wondering, in terms of some concrete support or action, I'm just thinking, if we focused on raising the issue of getting the community back on the land and in the houses, and the houses rebuilt. And initially,
that community once.
Well,
should we draw up a petition and pass it on to Auntie Vella to see if it's okay with her? And then if everyone's happy with the petition, we can start using it on the stores. And we can start campaigning.
But this one, I think it should be in the format of being presented at Parliament.
Definitely.
Because what I'm thinking is, if the report found in the community's favour, and the community in that area, I think it's something we could use specifically to take to Parliament. And if we just initially concentrate on the rehousing of the community and the rebuilding of the community home with the community contract
of the whole.
Whole issue.
Well, basically getting the community back together. It's fractured. It needs to come back together. It needs to be.
And like the house, and Peter Voss said, because he went out and inspected the houses after when he was doing the inquiry. I don't know if they all went or, all 5 of them or just him. And he said, I heard him say, these houses wouldn't be out of place in the far western suburbs, he said.
It's true.
They were very well looked after.
And yet they weren't
presented, not that didn't have fantastically cultured gardens around them or anything.
But it's the use of space and the materials, the colour.
And it's lovely.
Isn't it?
Sorry, anyway.
Can I also, sorry, because of time,
I know.
can I also ask, can Neil, I don't know if you've time, but I think we need a leaflet of explanation. That we could do a war leaflet of explanation. What has happened to the community, when it happened, and to go along with the petition, and you can to educate that. And you see, I think it also, you see, the Tent Embassy people, Marianne is talking about. They're talking about defeating the $1 billion deal, and they're talking obviously that. They've supported you in this claim, and they can see that the claim can scupper what the Swalts are trying to do. But one thing Marianne said is that part of their campaign is still to go out to the community, the Noongar community, and organise meetings and so on to vote against the Swalts. Now, I think part of that, because they're talking of sovereignty, you see, this issue of you going back to your land and your camp, that's a concrete. Everybody asks me, what is sovereignty? Well, to me, that is sovereignty in action. And I think we could use that as a concrete thing. This is what we mean. We mean a community that has its own camp, has its own way of living, has its own house, and looks after it. That.
And on its own sacred land.
On its,
Run by the community and nobody else.
Because, that whole Bennett Brook area.
It's all safe, it's all registered.
It's all her father registered it in late 1983, early 1984 with Pat Baines, who was an anthropologist. You remember her? Because she was an anthropologist for Perton too.
Yeah.
She stopped being an anthropologist because she was asked, she was doing stuff with Swask in some way, and she just thought they were so horrendous that she stopped being an anthropologist. She went off to Tasmania. We've never seen her since. And she was the best anthropologist probably. And then the other one who did, he and Ron Parker, rest in peace, and Pat Baines did a really good report too on for the Perton campaign, didn't they?
There was some document for the Perton campaign, wasn't there?
Yeah, and so that, you know, it's maybe worth having that on hand or something, because that's very good for people to understand the sacredness and the history from the Nimrod point of view.
If Neil could investigate, would you be happy
I can
putting
yeah,
that leaflet together? And obviously do it in we don't want to just produce it and you're not happy with it.
Yeah.
So we'll get you to look over the leaflet and check. So if we could get the leaflet and get a petition, and we could start therefore using that to get this back on the agenda. Does that seem a beginning anyway? Yeah. And we can discuss further events and activities. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a huge issue, and it needs to be supported and campaigned.
And we'd
by Wall,
if we took that up specifically, you think we'd get unified different groups? Would that be possible? Because I know obviously there's
all the five traditional owner families of the whole Swan River all support. Absolutely, that's the Coronas, Wilkses. Coronas are related to Marianne. I mean, that's her elder, and the Wilkses and the Garlets and the Worrells, and all. They're all. I mean, they're 100% behind Bella. If you're 100% with them on protecting all of the land, aren't you?
Yeah. Sorry, do you want to just?
Yeah, because if this claim goes through, it will overturn all the native title claims of West Walsey. If only Bella if their claim goes through and it's proved and it's registered, all the work that West Walsey has done, it will be actually thrown out, because if this claim, gets registered, and she's got links to Rottnest and whole of Perth, it will stuff up the claim of West Walsey. It will actually
$1 billion.
It will actually throw that out the window. That won't not exist. Okay. Really, there'll be.
What worries me that's, but I think you can't just rely on the court case. We have to build up a bit of a movement around it.
And I think we need to educate people in the fact, because I've been here since '86, and in 2003 I never heard about this. It was so hush hush and underground. And if you're not, politically active then, and if you're not politically active, you don't hear about it. It gets brushed under the carpet, and you know what I mean? Okay, and the media blow it up as something. Yeah, they blow it out of proportion. Out of proportion, and you can't always trust the media, but you need to educate people. This is what's happened. Yeah. This is what's happened to them. This is where they are now, and this is what we're going to do about it. So,
okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
I think it depends a bit on what you do, but